welcome to Picks with the Professor. Basketball edition, Monday, December 4th. Cousin Jared, how was your weekend?
It was good. And I'm not sure if I ever cared about the college football playoff selections. And I was watching with bated breath today because I had no idea what was going to happen. So a great Saturday of college football for us here with our picks over at Dub Club and here on the show. So that was really nice. But then I was just also very interested in, hey, what was actually going to happen with the playoff committee? And of course, boy, did they deliver. I mean, we knew it was going to be like, no matter what happened, somebody was going to be mad. But man, yeah, it seems like it blew up just like I anticipated it would.
I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this all day. not the specific picks as much as thinking about specifically that I often have a hard time not engaging when I should just walk away. And I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I could say something really stupid and try to get people hashtag mad online in the comment section. But then I thought to myself, if you say something really smart, you're probably still going to get people mad online in the comment section. And so all I will say on it is I'm a little surprised that, I will say number one, I still think that Georgia and Alabama are two of the best teams. They're both very, very good football teams. I'm a little surprised that they didn't leave both of them out. And just because they would have had a stronger leg to stand on, which was they could have just been like, look, we're here to reward a great season and to not diminish the accomplishments on the field of all the players out there. And based off what they accomplished, these are the four teams that deserve it. And I thought that would have been a stronger leg to stand on because you're right. No matter what, people would have been upset. But I was a little surprised because I just thought that was the easiest way to get out of this and just be like, well, we've got the best excuse. Because to me, that's what I would have done if I was on the committee. I'd have been thinking, what is the easiest excuse, the most viable excuse I can have? Because you were going to piss off a bunch of people no matter what. But first off, you mentioned the success of college football. We were positive throughout the season. The last week of the season, was incredible. Insanely good week, almost like doubled our profits. And then last week, did the same thing again almost. In college football, NFL's been great all season. And in college basketball, the totals continue to rock and roll. And you'll see on the A grade sides, if you followed us last week, we were -6%. The A grade side that I mentioned this all week, I think I figured it out, made a couple tweaks. Still a fairly young ball. I was really optimistic about that. And sure enough, A grade sides this last week had a 17% ROI and was up 15 units. One game still happening right now, the late night action on Sunday. So really thrilled about all of that. And again, if you want to join us over there on Dub Club, we got the Discord chat, which is a lot of fun. Or if nothing else, again, just showing your support and your gratitude for hopefully us helping you make some money. We appreciate everyone that's over there. That income helps me pay my bills so that I can spend so much of my time here working on these models, going to add more models and everything like that. So you can sign up on Dub Club. You can get $5 off your first month there with the promo code there on screen or in the show description. Because, Jared, you brought up college football. And I wanted to bring up something here. I think it segues perfectly into our first game. That we kind of do this in football and we do it a little bit in college basketball, this bizarre notion that because you beat a team, you are better than that team. And I want us all to think through this because I want us all to be smarter bettors, right? I'm a professor, at heart. I did that for 5 years. And I love helping people. And I want to help you become a smarter, better, and think through these things a little bit more logically. And, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because there's upsets all the time. And you wouldn't say that the college basketball team that's underdog by 20 points that wins, it's better than that team. They just won that one game. It's one observation from a realization of a bunch of possible outcomes. And what we would say is we would use that to inform us of the next time they play, and absolutely, but that wouldn't rule our thoughts. And I think college football this last weekend's a perfect example of that. Oregon was favored by 9 over Washington, 9.5. Sideline had them at 9.1. Pretty much agreed with the market. We stayed away from it. We took the under and won, so that was fun.
Yep.
Yeah, Washington beat Oregon even the second time, but that doesn't mean they're better than them yet in and of itself. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but that doesn't determine it. And sure enough, I was looking at it, and now Sideline would have it about a 5-point spread the next time. Again, we use that to update our thoughts going forward. And I know some of you are sitting here, oh no, Washington's clearly the better team. They won twice. If you're thinking that, you're ignoring the fact that Washington won 6 other games by single digits, most of them against not very good teams.
Yep.
And so we have to use all of the data at our disposal if we're trying to figure out how good these teams are. And the reason we're talking about this is because this is what helps us as a bettor invest in good guys. And so I think this is a very useful exercise to just remind ourselves that one game doesn't define a team. Everyone has good games. Everyone has bad games. We use it to update our information, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be prisoner to that one result. And I think that's a great segue into Iowa and Purdue. Because believe it or not, Purdue's rating actually went up after losing to Northwestern. You want to know why? Is because they went 4 of 18 in regulation from 3-point land. Northwestern went 8 of 18. And if you plug in the season averages from both of those teams, Purdue wins that game by 10 points on the road. And the model said they should win by, I don't know, it was 9 or something. And they would have won by 10. And so the model was very pleased with their performance in that game. But sometimes things happen so that the result isn't there. And so I think that's the thought process we have here. We're not actually talking about the side. We're going to talk about the total, but we're talking about Purdue, just to remember that that was a game that happened, and we can't ignore that game. We have to use the other games. Same for all teams. And this one that we are talking about the total, because Jared, I don't even have anything else to say. The model projects 175 points. I literally texted you. I was like, what in the world? I did not I don't look over the projections. I just I run the model and then I put it out there. There's hundreds of games every week, Yep. And then we were going through this. I was like, it was 175. And, Iowa obviously plays at a really fast pace. They're all offense, no defense. Purdue is very efficient on offense. We've talked about it with Purdue. Jake and I have talked about it that the other teams want to play fast with Purdue because they don't want Edey to get set up. Well, Iowa was like, great, let's do it. So the model is seeing this as all the ingredients to have just an insane number of points. I don't know if we're going to get to 175 or not, but the model thinks that 164 is priced way too low. 8 grade over for us because of Jared. Either we're going to hit this one, it's going to be a fun game, or it's not going to be quite as fun as we're hoping, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth that sometimes when you play a team as good as Purdue, you want to slow things down, even if you're a faster paced team, it would be to your advantage to slow things down. Nope, not to your advantage to slow it down. If you're Iowa, this is just all gas, no brake. Just go as fast as you possibly can. And Purdue is one of those teams that, I mean, yes, of course, they would like to slow things down, be maybe a little bit more meticulous offensively, but it's completely comfortable playing in this type of game. They have a number one offense there, and obviously much better defense than Purdue. So the more possessions that are in this game, I think that, So I think the more possessions that are in this game, the more you're going to be able to see how good Purdue's defense is, and relatively speaking, how Iowa's defense just isn't that great. But yeah, I love this over. I think it is just set way too low. If this doesn't go over, we'd like to talk about the way that we lose this. The way that we lose this is Iowa stinks on the road. Again, which they seemingly have a problem doing, definitely all of last season. And so far this season, maybe a little bit better, but they haven't done a lot that have just convinced me that they figured out their road woes. So if this one loses, I mean, easy to say this, Iowa doesn't shoot well from 3, but bigger picture for me, is Iowa going to struggle on the road again? And if so, great. Let's make a note of that. And once we get to conference, back Iowa at home, fade them on the road. It might be that easy.
Yeah, we've got some of these early conference games here in December. And then when finals come around and the kids are off, then most of the schools will play some more non-conference games until we get back into conference at the start of January. So these are good little teaser games, these early random conference games, kind of give us an idea of maybe how we handle these teams. And we saw, there's just so much to talk about with Purdue. We saw them struggle a little bit on the road. At least for now, I'm not going to say that abysmal three-point shooting output for Purdue that we expect it. Now, if they keep, like I said, we use that data point. If they keep doing that on the road, right, then we start, maybe because last year we start adjusting a little quicker, than before. But that's not something we necessarily expect. But we do have to keep our eye out and try to figure out how to adjust and whether we're adjusting quickly or slowly. But yeah, Iowa and their offense and their pace should get us a lot of points. Even if they don't, we still have a chance to get over in this game because, if there are a lot of possessions with Iowa's defense, Purdue could put up 100. Like that wouldn't be the craziest thing ever. Kind of like you mentioned, Purdue should be very happy to play a high possession game because they're, the best, if not one of the best teams in the country. And so you always want more possessions. If a team wants to slow it down, they could be more than happy to slow it down too, because they can run everything through their big man, who's, probably the early, at least favorite for player of the year. Over 164. A grade pick there, again, as the model says, on average, we're expecting an insanely high scoring game. This might be the highest number I've seen the model project yet this season. To 8 p.m. Eastern, Furman and Arkansas. Kissinger, this stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Furman, top 100 offense, not in the top 200 in defense, number 41 in pace. I haven't seen Furman play at all this year, but watching that, it seems like I'm missing out by not watching them. Like they seem like a fun team, just back and forth, lots of scoring. Don't really want to play a lot of defense. Let's have some fun and get some points on the board. Arkansas is a pretty good team and seems very comfortable playing whatever style of basketball you want to play. They're pretty good on offense. They're pretty good on defense. On average, they like to go a little bit faster, but they're, not going to drive the tempo one way or the other, but Furman absolutely is going to try to get up and down the court. We have another over here, another A grade, only 6 games on the slate today. So viewer, you're getting a little bit of a bonus here with a double A grade selection. This one's a little bit tighter. Over 158.5 is an A grade. As the model projects 162.5. This is the threshold for an A grade though. If you're at anything higher, the model would grade it as a B grade. You can obviously play it, viewer, however you want. But the model thinks on average, this is more likely to get into the 160s than stay in the 150s. Cousin Jared, tell us more.
So I feel like a lot of times when we have taken these overs, it has been exclusively due to the pace of the two teams. I think about a week ago when we went over in Houston Christian and TCU, like that was all about Houston Christian just playing very fast. They're terrible, but they just play so fast that you had to play the over here. The thing that I like about Furman is look at that 114 grade on offense, well above average on offense, like not even slightly above average, well above average on offense. And I think that's reflected by, if you just look at shots per game, like a team that is 41st in pace, you would expect to be near the top in shots per game. They're actually tied for 127th in the country in shots per game. They are efficient. So they have a higher pace, but their offense is pretty efficient. And so I think in addition to their pace, that is why I like this over, because Arkansas, as you can see, pretty good defense, playing at home. Furman could have some more troubles on offense than they had in a lot of games this season. But I think the combination of pace and efficiency is what can push this game over. And obviously, could Arkansas have a hangover after beating Duke? Sure. Definitely. That's possible. But they're playing at home. And if there is a hangover, I think that means that Furman gets to control the pace of the game early and, even better for us then.
Yeah, we talked a little bit of the first part, and maybe we should do a better job of doing this, just reminding the viewer, right, there is a way you can lose every single pick. Again, unless you're talking about a minus, 10,000 or something ridiculous, right? You have to assess the probability of that and everything. But right, so we talk about, there's no locks in gambling. If you're looking for a show that's going to give you locks and guaranteed winners and nonsense, right? That doesn't really exist. But good luck finding someone who can predict the future like that. And last thing here before I end my little rant, I retweeted it on X, I guess. That the biggest thing you can do to help yourself betting is realize that, there is no this will happen, this won't happen, but there's a probability certain things happen. Getting out of that binary, yes, no, will, won't happen. I think probabilities, right? There's absolutely a probability. There's a hangover for Arkansas. I think that works out to be a good thing for us too, because if Furman comes out and punches them in the mouth, then I think Arkansas is going to have to really get it going, and then maybe start pressing a little bit, not pressing like pressing like the full court press, right? And that's going to speed up the game and lead to like some quick turnovers and quick points and that sort of stuff. And that can get to a really fun, high scoring, tight game. The way we lose this bet is Arkansas's not coming out hungover. Their defense plays really sharp, and Arkansas wins this 90-50 or something, where they just like completely choke Furman out. I don't think Furman's only going to score 50 points. That seems very unlikely, but that sort of blowout where it's like a sleepy last 10 minutes is, kind of the easiest way I can see losing this. But this Furman offense is good enough. The pace is good enough to give us a ton of possessions. And so, as we're always talking about, we're thinking about this from a probability standpoint, and it's more likely this game plays out with just a bunch of possessions and a bunch of points. Obviously, two teams can get hot, two teams can get cold, and it could be a weird one. But in general, this sets up to be a good high-scoring affair. So over 150.5, A grade. If it's 159, 160 you're looking at, we'd still play it over. Model would say B grade, back off a little bit on it because you've lost a little bit of the value. Sometimes these numbers get really close to that. Always shop around, always find the best price. Who knows what the number will be in the morning. The movements in college basketball have just been so large and unpredictable.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I have thought one day I'd like to build potentially a model to try to predict that, but that's higher hanging fruit than actually just predicting the games, which is bizarre to say, but here we are. Which took us to our last game, 9 p.m. Eastern, Cal Poly and Oregon State. Cousin Jared, there are a lot of triple digits on that screen. Oregon State is an above average on defense, barely. And otherwise, there's not a lot of good things happening in this game with regards to talent or tempo. Because we're fulfilling your dream here of a show with 3 totals. Model projects 131.8. We're going to go under 134.5. We're at kind of a B to B plus grade here on this under. The model's just looking at this with the pace of these two teams. We kind of know what it will be. It'll be pretty measured. The best unit out there is going to be Oregon State's defense. We don't really have a lot of faith in Oregon State's offense. And so that sets up for a low scoring type game. Again, on average, we like the under here. Cousin Jared, the question I have for you, why should people play this under? We just gave them 2 A grade overs. Why should they also play this under? And obviously the obvious answer is there's 6 games on the board, people. You're looking for plays. Other than that, right? Why are you confident? Why do you like this total, given that we just had 2 A grades? Like, how does this kind of compare in your mind?
Well, I think you hit on it. There, not only are there a lot of triple digits on the screen right now, there are a lot of numbers that start in the 200s and the 300s, which Cal Poly is a bad team, people. They just went on the road to Idaho, and I had to look this up just to make sure I wasn't wrong. Sideline has Idaho, I'm going to go rated about 346th in the country. And Cal Poly went on the road to 346th ranked Idaho and lost by 15. It's not a good situation. And in general, on the road, Cal Poly has been even more inept offensively than what you would think. They scored 76 points at Denver. Denver plays really fast. I'm going to set that one aside. They scored 66 at Wyoming, 57 against Portland, 60 at St. Thomas. Those were neutral site games, so they weren't playing at home. 57 against Portland State. Portland State plays fairly up-tempo. Only 57 against them is not good. Cal Baptist, they scored 58. Cal Poly has just been anemic offensively at times this season. I don't think going on the road against what is now the Pac-12 for now Pac-12 team, Oregon State. I just
Pac-2.
don't think. Pac-12 minus 10 plus 12 with the Mountain West and whatever they call themselves. Who knows?
Is that the Alliance 2.0? I guess.
It could be. Yes, this one may actually work though. I at least hope they also shook hands and looked each other in the eye. like they did with the original alliance. That was very important.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just have no faith in Cal Poly going on the road. I guess you mentioned the only one above average unit on the court is Oregon State's defense. So I just don't see Cal Poly having very much success. And Oregon State, I mean, you look at that 269th on offense. They don't have the offense, I don't think, to take advantage of this and score 90 points themselves. So just a lot of badness all around. And I think that's going to result in fewer points, considering that Oregon State's defense is really the only thing that's decent in this game.
And, just a reminder, especially if anybody's new here, right, that one of the things we talk about that happens in college basketball is that when you're bad at basketball, it's easier to play better defense. And so 319 on offense versus 333 on defense, while in your head, viewer, you may say that's pretty similar, and it is from a ranking standpoint, but you actually will project to be a below average scoring team right there because of the fact that 333 on defense can still be respectable because you can just give effort and that can help you on defense. Whereas the same ranking on offense, you just can't get as much bang for your buck because it's just harder to score points. You can't just effort your way to points with offense.
Right,
I mean, you could sure try, but it's not going to really work. At some point, you need skill. You need guys who can shoot. You need guys who can get open. You need good passing, right? And that skill sometimes is hard to come by. But the effort for a team like Cal Poly, especially playing a Power 5 school, a Pac-12 school, again, right for now, right back, whatever it is, they come and bring that defensive intensity, and they can keep this as a low-scoring game. But like you said, we don't expect them that intensity to help them score any. We just think, maybe Oregon State's offense is that good. They don't score. And this kind of becomes just a ugly, low-scoring game. Under 134.5 is your B grade pick for the late night games. Only 6 games on the slate today. It's kind of crazy.
I get we are paying our pittance for all of those games during Thanksgiving week, where there's just wall-to-wall college basketball every single day, and eventually they've just got to take a day off, I guess. Unfortunate for us.
Unfortunate for us, but we will obviously still be here. We'll do an extended cut when we can. We did not feel like the quality was there to do an extended cut. There's a couple of games, at least right now, the lines look like they're really well set. But as we've long talked about, the closing line value is made out to be more than it really is. We want to always get the best number, but getting the best number doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be profitable. And there's some lines out there that if the line moves hard enough, I would be happy to fade the line movement, because line movement doesn't really mean a lot in sports these days, whereas it would have 10 years ago. And so maybe in the morning we'll have some plays, but at least for right now, there's a couple games we just felt like it was a stretch to play. So we might have a smaller card. We might not. We do have 2 more A grade sides though over on Dub Club. Again, those have been rocking and rolling. I feel really good about where those are going. Totals have been great, so hopefully we got 3 good totals here for you, viewer. Otherwise, Cousin Jared, any parting words for the people?
I'll see you on the NFL show this week.
Well, we will probably do more totals, and
I can only hope.
We can only hope, and we will cover Army Navy. Because what are we going to do if we don't have a pick on Army Navy? Like,
I mean, I've got it. We've just got to talk about it at the very least.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
okay.
We just at least got to talk about it. And I mean, right now, the last total I saw was 28. So I think that warrants a discussion at the very least.
I think we should discuss any total that is in that range.
Yeah.
Iowa did this a few times, had totals in the 20s. And I think every single time we said, go under. And it won.
They all went under. Yeah.
They all went under. So tune in and we will tell you on this one, should you go under or not?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it one bit. We'll find out. Then we'll do our research and we'll come up with an answer for you. Otherwise though, again, hop on Dub Club. If you're not with us yet, sign up, link in the show description, say $5 off your first month. Otherwise we will see you tomorrow.